All right, coming up, tax season is here. I don't want to die, so I'll take the taxes. What you need to know before you start filing.
Is it possible already?
I guess it is.
It's
That's
tax
what they
season.
say.
Starting today, you can begin to file your tax return with the IRS if, you know, that's what you're into.
Kylie Cruz joining us live from Phoenix with what we all need to know to get this going. Kylie, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, guys. I know, like it or not, tax season is here, but we are getting you prepared this morning. We are in a certified public accountant's office, Bob Hockensmith. We have got the board out with some handy information, and you're going to lay it all out. So the next 2 minutes, very informative. Bob, first off, highlight some of the tips, what we need to know this time around.
Okay.
Refresh us, please.
All right. First, you want to make sure that you take a look at the tax return from last year. Usually, people don't change their habits very often from one year to the next. So examine last year's tax return. That'll give you an idea of what kind of expenses you're looking for receipts for to prepare for this year's tax return.
Okay, and one thing, and this is all about organization, categorize all of your expenses. I should have been doing that, but now I know for next year and this year too.
You know, Dave Ramsey talks about putting budgets in a little envelope, right, for different expenses. I tell my clients the same thing. When you have different expenses for a tax return, put them in an envelope throughout the year so that, like, your mortgage statements are in one envelope, your medical expenses are in another envelope, and so forth. Your charity that you give is in another envelope. So at the beginning of next year, when you're looking for your tax return to be prepared, you've got all your receipts in an envelope, and they're categorized. It's a lot simpler that way.
Yeah, and a couple other things. Obviously, schedule an appointment if you are going to use an accountant to help you. And always check your name and social security number, especially if you've gotten married or divorced recently. Now, what, Bob, is maybe a little different this year compared to other years that we need to pay attention to?
We've got a couple of things, Kylie. Number one, you can no longer get a copy of your tax return transcript from past years online. The IRS was hacked, and no longer are we allowed to get copies of our tax returns from previous years online. You now have to mail in a request and pay a fee. It's actually $50 to get a copy of your old return now. Secondly, with Obamacare, the penalty for not having health insurance this year has risen dramatically from $95 a person last year to up to $1,500 a person this year. Quite a bit higher.
Okay, and finally, before we go, I want some secret ways, and it's not secret until it's not going to be secret anymore. But what are some things maybe people don't put on their return that are good deductions that you maybe didn't know about?
You know, the biggest thing that I find is that people don't realize that the license tags for their vehicles are deductible. A lot of people don't know that, but you can write off your tax for your horse trailer, your boats, your motorcycle, your cars, your trucks. It's all tax deductible. And then also, if you go out of town for work, everything you spend on out of town for work is tax deductible. Your laundry is tax deductible. Haircuts are tax deductible. Anything you spend, living expenses and so forth, while you're out of town for work purposes is a tax deduction. And a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, good information, Bob. We're going to talk to you again in our 7 o'clock hour. Have to admit, guys, I did not know about the tags, so I'm glad that I know that. So when I do my taxes, I'm marking that off. Of course, we'll be back again with Bob at 7 o'clock, but for now, we'll send it back to the studio.